The merchant sat in his empty shop at midnight, staring at the eviction notice. $300,000 in debt. Creditors threatening lawsuits. His family's business, 5 generations old, about to disappear. He had tried everything. Loans denied, investors withdrawn, prayers seemingly unanswered. Then his elderly uncle arrived unannounced, carrying a worn leather journal. "Your great-great-grandfather survived the pogroms using what's written here," he said quietly. 3 Hebrew words that our family swore never to speak unless facing total destruction. You're facing total destruction. He opened the journal to a page marked with dried flowers. Speak these 3 words at dawn for 7 days. But understand, this isn't magic. This is activating a covenant promise that most Jews don't know exists. 7 days later, the merchant's largest debtor, who had refused payment for 2 years, appeared with a cashier's check for the full amount plus interest. By day 14, an investor he'd never met offered to buy into the business at triple its value. By day 30, the debt was gone. His uncle's only warning? Never speak these words for greed, only for survival. The difference matters. Tonight, you'll discover these 3 words, why rabbis keep them hidden, and how they activate a biblical prosperity mechanism that most people never access. The covenant nobody teaches. Most people know about God's promise to Abraham, "I will bless you and make your name great." But buried in Deuteronomy 28 and Leviticus 26 exists a specific covenant mechanism, conditions that, when met precisely, trigger supernatural financial breakthrough. Not luck, not manifestation, contractual divine obligation. The problem? The conditions are so specific, the pronunciation so precise, and the heart posture so demanding that religious authorities stopped teaching the full protocol centuries ago. They feared people would use it manipulatively without required righteousness. So the knowledge went underground, preserved only in certain Hasidic communities and Kabbalistic circles where it was guarded like nuclear codes. The 3 Hebrew words aren't a spell. They're a legal invocation of covenant terms. When spoken correctly, with proper preparation, they essentially say to God, "I'm fulfilling my end. You promised. I'm calling in that promise now." And God, being bound by His own word, must respond. Why these words were buried? In the 16th century, a wealthy Jewish banker in Prague taught these 3 words to hundreds of people at once, hoping to lift his community out of poverty. Within weeks, the results were undeniable. Debts canceled, businesses thriving, opportunities multiplying. But something else happened. Those who used the words while harboring unforgiveness, while cheating others, or while refusing to help the poor, experienced the opposite effect. Their prosperity collapsed faster than it had grown. Some lost everything. A few died suddenly under mysterious circumstances. The rabbinical court investigated and determined the problem. The words work. They activate real spiritual mechanisms, but they require real righteousness, not perfection, but genuine alignment with divine principles. When used by those whose hearts were corrupt, the words became a curse rather than blessing. The rabbis decreed that the 3 words should never be taught publicly again, only passed privately from master to qualified student after years of character testing. For 400 years, this knowledge existed only in whispered conversations and coded texts. The 3 words and what they mean. The first word is Yevarachecha, meaning He will bless you. This isn't generic blessing. This is the specific term from the priestly blessing in Numbers 6:24, invoking the covenant promise spoken over Israel. When you speak this word, you're not asking for blessing. You're declaring that blessing is already decreed and must now manifest. The second word is Yirbu, meaning they will multiply or increase abundantly. This term appears in God's command to Adam and Noah, "Be fruitful and multiply."
It carries creative force, the same energy that caused cells to multiply, species to proliferate, humanity to fill the earth. Applied to finances, it triggers exponential rather than linear growth. The third word is matanat, meaning gifts. Not earnings, not wages, gifts. Unexpected money, canceled debts, surprise opportunities, divine favor that you didn't earn. This word opens the windows of heaven that Malachi described. I will throw open the floodgates of heaven and pour out so much blessing that there will not be room enough to store it. When spoken together in proper sequence with correct pronunciation and required heart posture, these three words create what Kabbalists call a linguistic portal, an opening between your current financial reality and the abundance waiting to manifest. The stories they don't tell. In the 1940s, a Jewish family fleeing the Holocaust arrived in New York with nothing. The father, a rabbi, knew the three words, but had sworn never to use them except in life and death necessity. Watching his children starve qualified. He spoke the words at dawn for 7 days. On day 8, a stranger approached him. "Are you Rabbi blank? My father just died and left instructions to find you and give you this." It was a bank account with $50,000. The stranger's father had been saved by the rabbi's father decades earlier in Poland. In the 1980s, a single mother in Jerusalem, drowning in medical debt from her daughter's cancer treatment, learned the words from her grandmother. She spoke them with tears, not for wealth, but for survival. Within 2 weeks, an anonymous donor paid her entire hospital bill. Within a month, her daughter went into remission. These stories circulate quietly in certain Jewish communities, never publicized, proof that the mechanism works, that the covenant remains active, that speaking these three words with proper protocol triggers tangible response. Why most people fail? Here's the critical truth. The three words are the key, but they only work if you've built the lock correctly. The lock is your life, your integrity, your generosity, your relationship with God and others. You can't cheat people all week and speak these words expecting prosperity. You can't refuse to forgive debts others owe you while asking God to cancel yours. You can't ignore the poor and expect heaven's wealth. The words activate covenant promises, but covenants have two parties with mutual obligations. If you're not holding up your end, living with basic integrity, practicing generosity, maintaining right relationships, the words won't just fail, they might backfire. Tomorrow, we reveal the exact protocol, pronunciation, timing, preparation, and the heart posture that makes the difference between breakthrough and disaster.
The businessman stood on his balcony at dawn, holding a paper with 3 Hebrew words written phonetically. He had memorized the pronunciation, understood the meanings, prepared for 7 days. But as the sun touched the horizon, doubt crept in. What if nothing happened? Then he remembered his grandmother's words. These aren't magic spells. They're keys to a door God already wants to open. You're just reminding Him and yourself that the door exists. He spoke the first word. The air seemed to shift. By the third word, he felt something he hadn't felt in years: certainty. 48 hours later, a debt he'd written off as uncollectible was paid in full. By day 7, 3 new contracts arrived unsolicited. The door was opening. Now you'll learn the exact protocol, the preparation, pronunciation, timing, and heart posture that transforms these 3 words into keys that unlock supernatural provision. The 7-day preparation. You cannot speak these words casually. The first requirement is 7 days of preparation, creating the lock that the words will unlock. This isn't about earning God's favor. It's about aligning your consciousness to receive what's already promised. Days 1 through 3, reconciliation. Make a list of everyone you owe money to.
everyone who owes you money, and everyone you have unresolved conflict with. For those who owe you, release them internally. Speak aloud, I release this person from this debt. If they pay, I receive it gratefully. If they don't, I won't hold it against them. You cannot ask God to cancel your debts while clutching others' debts to you. Days 4 through 6, Generosity Activation. Give something, money, time, resources, to someone who cannot repay you. It doesn't need to be large, it needs to be sacrificial. Better to give $10 that stretches you than 1,000 that doesn't. This establishes flow, demonstrating that prosperity isn't for hoarding, but for circulation. Day 7. Fasting and focus. From sunrise to sunset, abstain from food. Water is permitted. Spend time in prayer or reading scripture focused on God's provision promises. This clears mental and spiritual static so you can receive clearly. The exact pronunciation. Hebrew is a vibrational language. Each letter carries specific frequency. Mispronouncing doesn't just fail, it can activate wrong mechanisms. First word, yevarechecha. Phonetic, yevarechecha. The ch sound is guttural, like clearing your throat, not a hard K. Emphasis falls on the second to last syllable. Speak it slowly, feeling the vibration in your throat and chest. This word means He will bless you, not asking for blessing, but declaring that blessing is already decreed. Second word, yirbu. Phonetic, yirbu. Simple but precise. The R should roll slightly if possible. Strong emphasis on bu. This means they will multiply, triggering exponential rather than linear growth. The same creative force that filled the earth now applied to your finances. Third word, matanot. Phonetic, matanot. 3 clear syllables. The final T should be crisp. This means gifts, not earnings or wages, but unexpected provision, canceled debts, surprise opportunities, divine favor you didn't earn. The dawn protocol. Timing is everything. These words must be spoken at dawn, the moment the sun first breaks the horizon, not before, not after. Dawn represents transition, new beginning, the moment darkness surrenders to light. Stand facing east, toward the rising sun. If possible, be outside or at a window where you can see the horizon. Hold your hands open at chest level, palms up, the universal posture of receiving. As the sun appears, speak the 3 words clearly, with authority. Yevarechecha, yirbu, matanot. Pause between each word. Let it resonate. Don't rush. After the 3rd word, remain silent for 60 seconds, hands still open, visualizing debts being canceled, opportunities arriving, provision flowing. See it as already done. The 7-day cycle. Repeat this protocol at dawn for 7 consecutive days. 7 is the biblical number of completion. Missing even 1 day breaks the cycle. You must start over. During these 7 days, watch for 3 signs. First, unexpected contact from people who owe you money or who have opportunities. Don't chase them, let them come. The words create gravitational pull that draws provision toward you. Second, sudden clarity about financial decisions. The words don't just bring money, they bring wisdom about money. You might suddenly know which job to take, which investment to make, which expense to cut. Third, supernatural favor. People helping you for no logical reason. Discounts appearing, fees waived, obstacles dissolving. This is gifts manifesting that you didn't earn and couldn't manipulate. The critical warnings. Never speak these words in anger or with intention to hoard wealth. The mechanism amplifies your heart's true posture. If your heart is aligned with divine principles, it amplifies blessing. If corrupt, it amplifies consequences. Never teach these words to someone in active sin or someone who will misuse them. You become partially responsible for the outcome. Never use these words more than once in 12 months unless facing genuine emergency. This isn't a slot machine. It's covenant emergency protocol for true crisis. Overuse dulls effectiveness and suggests you're not managing what's already been given. After the 7 days. On day 8, take practical action. The words open spiritual doors, but you must walk through them. Apply for the job, make the phone call, launch the business. The words create supernatural favor, but favor operates through natural channels. Keep a record of what happens. Write down every unexpected provision, every canceled debt, every opportunity. This builds your faith as you see the pattern. The ancient promise activated. These 3 words, Yevarechecha, Yerbu, and Matanot, aren't magic. They're the activation code for covenant promises that have existed since Abraham, but that most people never access because they don't know the code exists. You now know. Use it wisely. Use it righteously. Use it when you truly need breakthrough. And when it works, and it will if you follow the protocol exactly. Remember that prosperity isn't the end goal. It's a tool for fulfilling purpose, blessing others, and demonstrating that God keeps His promises. The door is waiting. You have the key. Speak the words at dawn.